Ever wonder how Elon Musk went from like getting kicked out of PayPal to,
Right.
launching cars into space?
Right.
We're on that deep dive today.
Yeah.
How's he turned setbacks into wins, right? And using this source material to like extract some seriously interesting takeaways.
Absolutely. And, this source dives right into 6 specific areas where, frankly, most people would just given up.
Yeah.
It's more than just like having the growth mindset. It's about what Musk actually did when, things hit the fan.
Okay, so SpaceX, I mean, talk about high stakes, 3 rocket launches, 3 explosions, millions of dollars, poof.
Go on.
Our source says he was this close to like personal bankruptcy. How do you even process that kind of pressure?
It's really a masterclass in calculated risk. Most people, they see a blown-up rocket, they think failure. Musk saw each one as a data point. And the thing is, this level of risk tolerance, it only works if you're also laser-focused on learning from every mistake.
Which is exactly how they landed that massive NASA contract.
Right.
Not just the successful 4th launch back in 2008, but like the years of data and iteration leading up to it.
Exactly. They weren't just saying they could handle pressure, they were demonstrating it, which is powerful. And not just, in aerospace, but in any field, really.
It's that whole show don't tell, but like on steroids.
Right.
Speaking of extreme, Tesla and the infamous Model 3 production ramp, sleeping on the factory floor. This wasn't just dedication, this was survival mode.
Yeah, this part of the source, it really highlights Musk's problem solving under extreme pressure. What people often miss is that the Model 3's challenges. It wasn't just building a car, it was about revolutionizing the entire manufacturing process.
And hitting roadblock after roadblock. Supply chain, software glitches, you name it. But what's the takeaway for someone who's not building a car company, right?
Yeah.
How do you bottle that level of intense problem solving?
It's about breaking those massive problems into like manageable pieces, right? So instead of getting overwhelmed by the enormity of it all, Musk, and by extension Tesla, they focused on identifying and attacking the biggest bottlenecks, like one by one. Yeah. And that hyper-focus on practical solutions, even if they're unconventional, that's something we can all learn from.
It's interesting, though, because this source positions PayPal as a sort of turning point for the guy.
Yeah.
Getting ousted as CEO.
Yeah.
Even with a big payout. That's got to sting, right?
Yeah.
Most people, that's a major setback.
Right. What's so fascinating is how he leveraged it.
Yeah.
The source, it highlights how the sale of PayPal basically like funded his next chapter, SpaceX Tesla. It's like prime example of turning, perceived failure into fuel for bigger things.
Okay, so it's not just bouncing back, it's using that to like
catapult.
Yeah, to catapult yourself forward. And that pattern it continues, even with ventures that weren't like outright home runs.
Absolutely. Take Solar City.
Right.
Our source points out, it had its challenges, obviously. Eventually merged with Tesla, but it fed right into Musk's like larger vision for sustainable energy.
So even if something doesn't work out exactly as planned, there's this element of, okay, but how does this fit into the bigger picture?
Exactly.
Are we seeing like 4D chess here while everyone else is playing checkers?
Yeah. It makes you wonder, right? This ability to adapt, to integrate, to find the value in what other people label as defeat. It's a recurring theme.
Yeah.
And the source, it doesn't pretend every venture is a slam dunk, but it shows how those experiences, they often lay the groundwork for what comes next.
Which brings us to the what's next category.
Yeah.
Hyperloop, Neuralink, even that whole Twitter thing. These feel different though, right? It's like Musk's ambition is pushing into like uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Some might even say these are flops waiting to happen.
It's true. These ventures, as our source calls them, are moonshots, like huge potential payoff, but also a high risk of,
Crashing and burning.
Right. But what's key is separating the hype from the reality.
Okay, so let's get real. What are the actual challenges these ventures face beyond the headlines and the speculation?
Well, with Hyperloop, I mean, just the scale of the infrastructure required, we're not talking about a faster train. We're talking about rethinking transportation, like, entirely.
Wow.
Neuralink, incredibly promising, but you've got ethical considerations, regulatory hurdles. I mean, it's a minefield.
So you've got these crazy ambitious projects, right? But also this understanding that there are massive, massive roadblocks. And not just like the tech stuff, but the logistics, the societal impact.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if Musk's whole approach to risk, to failure, could actually work against him at this point.
Yeah, and that's the core question, right? This source really makes you think. These moonshots, are they like proof of his drive? Or a sign that even HE can get lost in the hype?
It's easy to get swept up.
It is. And sustainable success, I mean, that takes a grounded understanding of the challenges, as this source puts it.
And it's not like the guy's track record is perfect. I mean, for every SpaceX, every Tesla, there's a Solar City, a Twitter, things that are,
Dossier.
yeah, debatable whether they really worked out.
Exactly. And that's key for us to remember, right? It's easy to focus on the big wins, but even Musk, I mean, he's had setbacks, miscalculations, he's had to course correct. Failure as fuel doesn't mean just going in blind. It means constantly learning, constantly adapting.
So as much as we're all, fascinated by Elon Musk, the lesson isn't to be Elon Musk.
Right.
It's taking those nuggets, the risk calculation, the problem solving, the ability to just pivot when you need to, and apply that to our own lives, our own goals.
100%. This whole deep dive, it wasn't about putting Musk up on a pedestal, right? It was about dissecting what he's done to find what we can actually use. We can all benefit from embracing the challenges, learning from when things don't go to plan, and cultivating that mindset of always evolving, Doesn't matter what our goals are.
You've been giving us a lot to think about,
Yeah.
especially for anyone listening who's got that big idea brewing.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's time we all took a page out of Musk's playbook and asked ourselves, like, what's our moonshot? And what's the first step, however small, we can take to get started?
Now there's a challenge worth taking on.